Welcome back. Is the emotional roller coaster ride over? Barry Shenkarow is ready to make the latest statement on the Jets' viability. Let's go to that press conference.
Thank you very much for all coming here today. Mr. Shenkarow has no formal statement to make at this time. However, he is here to answer any questions you may have regarding the meetings that took place earlier today in Ottawa. I'd like to call upon Barry Shenkarow.
Okay.
For questions.
Barry, are the Jets for sale?
No. We met in Ottawa, and I haven't had a chance to speak to my partners. And tomorrow I'm going to speak to my partners, probably speak to representatives of the governments, and hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow we'll be able to have a press conference and let you know exactly what's happening. But until I speak to the other people, as I said before, May 1st we weren't going to do anything, and today was May 2nd and I was in Ottawa all day.
Barry, what's your gut feeling right now? Is the deal dead? Is there a chance that the Jets could stay in Winnipeg?
Well, until I speak to my partners, the deal as the option has expired. So whatever deal that was there is passed. I have to speak to my partners. I have to, I think, give a courtesy to and see if anybody else has any other ideas or any more money tomorrow, and we'll take it from there. But until I speak to my partners and to the province and the city and representatives of the business community, I won't make any further comment.
Do you have any firm offers for the team now?
No.
Barry, you said the other night you weren't interested in keeping it here and having taxpayers pay the bill. Yet we heard out of Ottawa that there may be a situation where the federal government and the provincial government, if they were willing to fund the losses for another year, you would consider keeping it here.
No, I think that you have to understand something. The idea of funding the losses was to buy time to find out whether we could build a building and keep the team here long term. On that basis, it was probably a wise investment for the government because they could get their money back either through the appreciation of the franchise, short-term or long-term, through the value of tax revenues and other things that would happen on a long-term basis. But I can't believe that anybody would want to keep the team here for 1 year and fund losses of $15 or $20 million for the sake of having a team here for 1 year. That makes no sense to me, and I can't believe it makes any sense to anybody.
That sounds like you want to get out of this agreement. And
no, don't read I want to anything. I want to keep the team in Winnipeg, and I'd really appreciate it if you don't try to read anything into what I'm saying except exactly what I'm saying.
Sir, you may have you may not have any offers yourself, but there's been a feeling that the league has been sort of...
I have directed Mr. Bettman to field all calls. Anybody who calls me, I send them to Mr. Bettman. And the reason for that is because if, and I say if, the team has to be sold, the league is going to have to approve purchasers. And rather than me dealing with people prior to May 1st, Mr. Bettman could screen people and start the process so that I wouldn't receive 100 calls from 100 people who wouldn't be qualified by the league. So Mr. Bettman has in fact talked to people. But that's the purpose of that, and I had advised MEC a long time ago that that would be taking place.
Do you know what the MEC might possibly do to salvage this? What could be the solution here? Could the province step in? What's going to happen?
I have to speak to people tomorrow. I've spent a very hectic 3 days, and you know, right now I wouldn't say that I would be very optimistic about the outcome of what's happening.
Barry Bettman has said repeatedly that they need somebody in Winnipeg with deep pockets. Could you and your partners still continue to run this franchise if an arena was built and you were allowed to manage it? Could you and your partners make the Jets viable in Winnipeg under that scenario?
I think that the first question is there enough money to build the building? That's the first question. The second question is, I don't know whether my partners any longer have an appetite to own this hockey team. And I haven't spoken to them about that. So you're asking me a question that I can't give you an answer to. We did, for 4 years, this isn't something that happened in 4 days. For 4 years, it provided an option to anybody in Winnipeg to buy the team at far, far less than market value, on the premise that the team would stay here long term. It wasn't about building a building, it was about keeping the team in Winnipeg. And right now, there's no deal on the table that is long term able to keep the team in Winnipeg. And so, as of right now, that's where we stand. I did meet with the federal government today, and they are going to be holding discussions, and whether or not there is something that's going to happen between today and tomorrow, I can't answer you.
Has the deal changed? Has the guts of the deal changed? We hear there might be casino money involved in the problems now. If there is, how would the NHL feel about that?
I have not sat in meetings with the province, and so I don't know how the deal has changed or not. There's right now no deal in place, and that's all I can really say.
Is the NHL too rich for Winnipeg?
Well, I think, you know, when you talk about is the NHL too rich for Winnipeg, is it too rich for Quebec, is it too rich on a basis of a private sector deal going forward? In other words, can somebody step forward and say, I'm going to invest in this hockey team and I have a chance to make money, whether that's 10% or 15%, or whatever else you do, a purely business transaction? Yes, the NHL is too big for Winnipeg. And I think everybody knows that. If the NHL is going to stay in Winnipeg, it's not going to be on a business-like basis. And one of the problems you have with that is the NHL is looking for somebody to step up, or people to step up and be able to stand behind the franchise. And if the economics of the franchise don't make sense, then people are not going to, nor should they, stand up and put themselves into that position.
Well, our second intermission and that press conference continue. Barry Shenkarow back from Ottawa, adamant that the MEC option to buy the club has come and gone, and they are now have fallen back in that situation. He has not had a chance to talk to his partners who also own the Jets, so he has not made much of a statement other than the fact the Jets are not moving at this point. We will have more throughout the telecast, but we have more hockey to tell you about. After 2, the Jets trail by 1. Our second intermission continues.
Play Safeway's Score and Win. When the Jets score, you could win. An AST Advantage desktop computer. The gourmet collection of fine kitchen appliances from Sultan. A Polaroid Captiva instant camera. Or $300 in MasterCard traveler's checks from the Bank of Montreal. You could also win a trip for 2 to Mazatlan, Mexico, courtesy of Canadian Holidays. Safeway's participating products, Betty Crocker fruit roll-ups, and Basel margarine. Score and win at Safeway, today's better way.